Hi, my name is James Hills. I work for the Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture in Tasmania, and I lead the Livestock Production Centre. Yeah, so I did a rural science degree and focused on particularly animal production from the University of New England. And then I moved to Tasmania and worked in horticulture mainly for a period of time, and then came across to the university. And most of my work at the university has very much been around animal production systems, very much around variability in animal production systems and how we can manage that variability to improve productivity. Yeah, so to ask these or answer these questions, we've set up some farmlets. So we've got 4 separate mini herds, and on each of those farmlets we run those herds, and we're doing that over multiple years, where they're either grazing in a conventional system with high nitrogen ryegrass clover, or they're in a similar system with only half the amount of nitrogen, so another herd. And then we've got one herd where we've introduced some herbs, so plantain, in the mix, and then we've got one which is a very multi-species pasture with a number of different legumes, a number of different herbs within that. So that's with a very, very low or no synthetic nitrogen in that particular system. So we're asking, if we reduce nitrogen and increase diversity, can we maintain productivity? We have been surprised, particularly by the performance of those farmlets that have lower nitrogen. So in the way we set the project up, the 4th farmlet is one where we were putting in no synthetic nitrogen, and we believed at the beginning that that would lead to a reduction in production of about 20 to 30%, just based on our conventional knowledge. But we have got very high levels of clover in that, so over 30%, so 40 or 50% of clover. And what we've found is that after the first season, without any synthetic nitrogen being applied to that 4th farmlet, it is producing as much as farmlet 1 with 300 units of N and farmlet 2 and 3 with 150 units of N. So what surprised us is that we are as productive in our 0 synthetic N input farmlet as the other farmlets, and we actually set out at the beginning to give that 4th farmlet a lower stocking rate, assuming we wouldn't have as much pasture grown, but we've had to cut a lot more silage from that farmlet. So it has surprised us that our productivity has been so good in those farmlets where we have reduced N. So environmentally, obviously less nitrogen being applied synthetically into the system, perhaps there's going to be less, which is going to be leached out of the system. With the use of legumes, we're going to have more consistent supply of nitrogen over the season, as opposed to having a big lot put on at various times, so reducing that environmental impact, losses through nitrous oxide and so forth. So there's an environmental benefit there. Also a reduction in cost, because if you're having less inputs, then you're having less costs. So we are looking at the fact that particularly in recent years, fertilisers have been quite expensive. So farmers are saying, well, what can we do to reduce our inputs? So there's an environmental impact. There's probably a social acceptance impact from the point of view of society saying, hey, what are you doing? How can we meet that? And then there's a profitability impact as well. So I think all of those are things that are of great interest to farmers, and we're trying to help them to understand what might work within those systems. At the Grounds for Growth Soils and Pasture Biodiversity event in Warrnambool in March next year, we'll be presenting on the results of our Dairy High 2 project, and we'll have more than 1 year's worth of data by then, and we'll certainly see some consistent results over a period of time. And so we'll be presenting the results of some of our farmlet work. And the beauty of that farmlet work and the ability to present it is that it is done at a farm level and a systems level. So there's some confidence that what we're seeing can be then applied directly by farmers to their particular systems and their approach of grazing and dairy farming. So yeah, exciting to be able to see those results and then to be able to pass those on to the industry. I hope to see you at Grounds for Growth in Warrnambool on the 4th, 5th and 6th of March next year.